Welcome to the Big Book Roundtable in the RICO 12 family of recovery resources. This resource is targeted at people from anywhere, anyhow, any why, who suffer the disease of alcoholism, however it may manifest. I'm Justin B. I'm your host, and I am a child of an all-powerful and perfectly loving God and a multidisciplinary addict living in the miracle of recovery one day at a time. I'm so blessed and spoiled to be the moderator of this roundtable that I get to sit around just about every week and talk to two of my favorite people, David G. and Nikki M. And why don't we have David lead us off this time and introduce himself?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. Thank you for your service. Nikki, thank you for yours as well. Always good to be at the table with you, sis. David G., alcoholic addict of many, many, many sorts. Recovered by God's grace and was given the gift of recovery on August 8th, 1994. I'm super grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Nikki, you're up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M., and I'm a grateful member of many, many fellowships, and I'm just here one day at a time. And I was thinking, am I really one of Justin's favorite people? But you know what? It's true. Because every time I leave this table, I feel amazing. And I don't feel that way with a lot of people in the world. So yeah, ditto, right back at you. You guys are my faves.
It is a true blessing to be with you, Nikki, with you, David. I also leave this table uplifted every single time. Thank you. All right, today we are going to continue in our deep dive in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's what we do in the Big Book Roundtable project is we go through line by line in the Big Book. We utilize the 4th edition. And right now, as we go through this book, we are in the chapter Into Action. We just started step 11 last time that we recorded, and we will continue in step 11. Today we'll be reading the paragraph in the middle of page 86 that begins with On Awakening, and we'll be reading through the top of page 87, the paragraph that ends with We Come to Rely Upon It. As we go through this, get your highlighters, your pen, your paper ready, because we go deep, we talk experience, strength, and hope, and this is something that if you put into action the things that we discuss here, I can pretty much guarantee your recovery will take a huge step forward as it is doing for me as I try and apply these things that we discuss on this roundtable. All right, I'm going to get into reading. Like I said last time, we read about the first part of step 11, and then when we retire at night, one of my old sponsors used to say, On a Sleepening was the first paragraph, and then On Awakening is this next one. So we're going to get into the On Awakening. Here we go. On Awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance. For after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher spiritual plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, become more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. All right, there's our reading today. So let's dive into this. David, why don't you lead us off and take us through those paragraphs and give us some of the takes that you have on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Grateful to be here, Justin. Thank you for your service, brother. Again, and I shared this last episode. This is something I really didn't start doing until about 6 years ago, even though I've been here 30 years. So you're right. This is a game changer. You know, we talked about the evening review last time. Now we're talking about what I do in the mornings. And so it says, let us think, on awakening, let us think of the 24 hours ahead. Used to on awakening, there was all kinds of things I would think about, but the 24 hours ahead really wasn't a big part of it, especially not in the spiritual realm. I might have thought about how I was going to make money that day, how I was going to sleep with somebody that day, whatever, but rarely did I think of that. Notice how it says we consider our plans for the day. It's okay to consider your plans, just don't plan, make the plan, just don't make the outcome of the plan, because plans change throughout the day. But before I begin, I'm going to begin with prayer, and right here is what it's going to be: direct my thinking. Notice the key word, thinking. See, that is what was killing us down below in the first 3 or 4 chapters. It showed us how that set us up to take the fall for everything that ever happened to us. Now that we've had an awakening, our thinking is on a different plane. So in order to keep it there, we're going to have to ask God for direction with it every single day. Now, a lot of people don't do this. I didn't do it for a long time. But notice it says, especially asking. There's prayer again. Anytime I see that word, it's referring to prayer. That it, talking about my thinking, be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, self-seeking motives. Now, these are time-based emotions. Self-pity always deals with the past. Self-seeking always deals with the future. And dishonest is the current lie. I am the self. I'm no good. I can't do this. It's too hard. Bullshit. If I worked half as much as this as I did at staying high, drunk, and lusting after other people, or wanting to be lusted after, this is pretty easy. So under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties. Notice them 2 words again. This is where we're striving to improve. With assurance, that's a promise. God gave us brains to use our thought life. See, here it is again. He keeps coming back to this over and over and over. This is where the radical change is taking place. This is where we must continue to grow. And the way to do that is through prayer and meditation. So it doesn't say my life is going to be all wonderful. I'm going to make tons of money. I'm going to do this, do that. No, my thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our keyword thinking is clear to wrong motives. And keyword thinking, notice how many times he's used that. Thinking, thought life, over and over and over. When that's clear to wrong motives, then I've got a pretty good outlook on my day. Now, I may face indecision. I may not be able to determine which course to take. If that's the case, when I'm thinking about the 24 hours ahead, then we ask God for inspiration. Intuitive, keyword right here, thought or decision. See, self run our thought life, all of our life, for most of us. Now we're on a different basis, the basis of trust and relying upon God. And the way that we're going to do that is through our thoughts, because our actions are going to be different if our thoughts are different. As a man thinketh, so is he. Thinking, always. Now we've recovered from a state of mind that used to kill us through our thinking. Relax, take it easy, don't struggle. In other words, I don't worry about an answer. I just let that come, whatever it may be. Now, we're often surprised how the right answers will come after we've tried this, keywords here, for a while. Bullshit, I want it right now. I've been doing this for 6 weeks. I should have had better results by now. No, this is going to take a minute. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in my 50s, late 50s. So it's taken a lot of years for me to learn how to do this. It's going to take a minute. And in other words, my book says more than a minute. It's going to take a while. So what used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration, shit, here's that word again, gradually. No, I want it right now. No, it's going to take a while. It's going to be gradual. But trust me, this is going to become a working part of my mind. Self is dead. God is alive. Here we are. Being still inexperienced, have just made conscious contact with God. It's not probable that we're going to be inspired all the time. There's some days, man, I'm just full of inspiration. I'm going. And there's some days I'm not. I don't feel like I have any contact with God at all. When that happens, I pay for that presumption in all sorts of absurd actions. And that's a result of my ideas, keyword. Nevertheless, we will find that here's that word again, thinking, will here it is again, time passes. Man, tried it for a while, gradually, now time passes. Don't get in a hurry with this deal. We're on God's time. But trust me, our thinking will and has changed. It has to. It'll be more on the plane of inspiration. Today it is. I came in yesterday. It was my day off. Man, I did all kinds of things. I run all over the place, mowed the yard, did this, waxed the car, done all this, cooked dinner for my wife. She was like, "What in the hell is wrong with you, man? I mean, it's almost like you smoking crack again, you know?" And I said, "I am, but it's from page 86 to 88. You know, some of the promises is that we won't be tired as often. We don't burn up energy foolishly anymore." That's what's happened to me as a result of that. Now, do I do that every day? No. But more days than not, yeah, I do. I love it. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Nikki, what's your take on those couple of paragraphs?
Well, it's clear-cut directions. As David said, it's just going to be more of the same. But I'll go through it because I do this all the time with my sponsees. On awakening means the minute you open your eyes, before you go pee-pee, that means while you're still lying in bed. You have to think, which is meditate on the 24 hours ahead. There's your slogan, just for today. Just for today, I'm doing God's business, not my business. I have to consider my plans for the day, which is number 1, my family. Number 2, my job. And number 3, the newcomer, in that order. And I messed it up a lot. And I've destroyed my family in the process of not paying attention to what I need to consider and the order I need to do it. And also my plans for the day are to live in the spirit world. Before I begin what? Before I even get out of bed, I'm to ask God. It doesn't say call your sponsor. And Nikki, it doesn't say grab your phone and start scrolling your life away. Okay, you can't see me, but I've got a wristband on today because I've been scrolling my life away and I've got carpal tunnel. I'm not following these directions very good, but I'm doing the best I can and I'll do better every day. So we ask God to direct our thinking. There's your step 3 prayer. God, I offer myself to thee, my creator. I'm fired, God's hired. And then I need to ask that I'm divorced because Nikki M is married to self-pity, the bondage of self. I'm married to dishonesty. No one loves me. I'm too old. And self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, what conditions, Nikki? Thinking about the 24 hours ahead, asking God to divorce me from myself. I can employ my mental faculties with assurance. God gave me brains. Everybody, you're not a monkey. You're not a macaco if you're in Brazil or Portugal. That's a monkey. You're a human. Act like it. It's radical stuff. And it's like our thought life. That's why we're here. Some of you are too human. I should say it. Welcome to Earth School. Your thought life, what you think you become. This is radical. So it's right there. My thinking must be cleared of wrong motives. I gave my life to God. I need to be on a higher plane. That's God consciousness all day, every day. Oh, I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm a servant of God. The next paragraph. In thinking, how about this, you weirdos? In obsessing about my day, because that's what I do. Like in obsessing about me, what about me? Because I suffer the disease of alcoholism without even picking up a drink. So in obsessing about my day, I'm going to face indecision if I'm not connected to this power in my thought life. I'm not going to be able to determine what course to take. And it doesn't say call your sponsor, everyone. It says ask God. Everyone in the call your sponsor, call your sponsor. We're beyond human aid. My sponsor is sick like me. We in our turn. Some days you're good, some days I'm good. We relax and take it easy. And I'm going to go deep on this one with my sponsees. I can do things that David can't do. Justin can do things that I can't do. So don't compare yourself. Get deep with yourself and learn yourself. What do you like to do to relax? Because if I had to go play baseball with Justin, oh my God, forget about it. That's not relaxing. That's torture. I know. Justin's like, no, it's not. But see, I don't struggle. I relax and take it easy. And that doesn't mean scrolling your life away, Nikki. That doesn't mean jerking off in your basement all day watching porn, people. That means you relax with God and you take it easy. Don't struggle. And here's a promise. This is a paycheck. The right answers will come. After you tried this for a while and we read it, not an overnight matter, I think it says should continue for our lifetime, but I'm like a lot of my friends. I like to add words into the big book and water down the message. Okay. Page 87, the top of my page says this: practice and patience. Is everyone into action and practicing in patience? Because this takes a long time. What used to be the hunch, a big promise, everybody, this is a big fat promise, becomes a working part of my mind. Line out. It becomes my second nature. I don't have to think about it. It just happens. And I love this because I had my friend, are you listening, friend in South Africa, who called me and goes, Nix, he calls me Nix. Nix, I'm having a bad day. And I took him right here. I said, you just made conscious contact with God, sir. Even though you've been here 8 years, you've been asleep in the rooms. And you are not going to be inspired at all times. You know, further on, we're going to read that this is a blessing because you need this trouble so you can practice these principles. I have a friend. She doesn't know she's my friend, and I always talk about her here. Her name's Joyce M., and she says, without the test, you won't have the testimony. So I need these bad days so I can practice having patience and not going ballistic on people. Because I'm going to pay for this presumption that every day is going to be Disneyland, and I'm going to fart rainbows and butterflies all day because I'm in 12 step. I mean, this is radical. Nevertheless, Nikki finds that my thinking, everybody, you're in Earth School, wake up. This is all about your thought life. As time passes, don't leave the rooms. More and more, I will rely on it. Rely on what? Rely on being honest, pure, unselfish, and loving. Rely upon what? This inspiration from the power of the universe, the creator, the one who has all power. Whoa, I'm high on God dope. I'm going to mute right now. I'm getting real weird.
Awesome. Thanks, Nikki. And David. So I've got a couple questions here. David, one thing that you said I think is so powerful, and I'd like you to just dive into it just a little bit deeper. You said there's a difference between making the plan for the day and determining the outcome of that plan and having the expectation of the outcome. Talk to us about how you do that and why that's important.
Yeah, thank you, Justin, for that question. For me, I make a lot of plans throughout the day. I plan to see my mother later today. I plan to, call my daughter, call my son, whatever it may be, but things come up. And whenever they come up, there's things that get in the way of those plans sometimes. So it's okay to make the plan. I just don't need to plan the outcome of the plan because the plans change according to God's time and being in this. So for me, the reason that that's so important is because if I'm absolutely dead set on carrying through with that plan, even though God is opening other doors and my plans are changing, then I'm back to playing God again. And that's just been my experience. One of the things that I failed to talk about, and real quick, I will. In the beginning of this, it said we ask that we especially be divorced. I want to zone in on that word for just a minute because I've had a few divorces. Now, I knew I was married. That's why I knew that I didn't want to be in that marriage anymore, and I ended up in divorce, or vice versa. If I'm asking to be divorced daily from self-pity, self-seeking, dishonest motive, in other words, self, then at some point I've been married to it. I didn't even know that. So, yeah, it's a very, very enlightening part of the book that we are in to practice this. And we do that with two-way prayer. I get silent. My plans for the day are made then, but there again, those plans may change. So it's important that I don't put those plans into concrete because something's going to come up. We planned to meet this morning at 9 a.m. You know what happened? My wife called me and said, David, that's the time that is my doctor's appointment. Guess what? The plan changed. And you guys were accommodating to that, and I appreciate that. But you know what? And I said, you know what? I can't take you to that. I've got to be on the round table. Page 19 just went all to shit. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And I'm grateful that we were able to accommodate that too, because as Nikki has said, and we've all said, there's an order to things. God, family, and others, and that's what it's got to be. All right, Nikki. Question I have for you. I love how you went into this. My life isn't perfect. I can't expect my life to be perfect, but it gradually becomes a working part of the mind. That it grows into something, an acceptance, and I think that's where I want to go with this question, Nikki. If I'm practicing all these principles and my life is still going to crap, how do I practice acceptance and these principles to be reasonably happy in those moments?
Well, if you're really practicing these principles, your life will not be going to crap. I mean, that is the great reality because we read the promises that says God will, and it was 11 times. So, number one, your disease of perception is off. This is about the disease of perception. I know I learned that in Al Anon. We have a disease of perception. It's like, look what's happening to me. No, look what's happening for you, Nikki. It's really radical. And so again, it's like, let me give some sports analogies here to my guys at the table. I'll give one to my girls in the audience. People, we're in 2025. Like everyone's heard of Beyonce. She's the greatest singer. Well, supposedly, could be a rumor, but her daddy had her running in high heels and singing on a treadmill at 8 years old. That's why Beyonce is Beyonce. You may know a guy named Tiger Woods. His dad, Earl Woods, had him on the golf course at 2 years old. That's why he's Tiger Woods. This is practice. This is not an overnight. Same thing with, I don't know, a baseball player for you, Justin, but Wayne Gretzky. He's a Canadian favorite who lives in America now. He is Canada's like favorite hockey player. Walter Gretzky's a hero, a daddy hero, because he had his son out there practicing. So if you think you're going to come in here, and I love what David said. I think it was last episode, or even it might have been this one where he says, he didn't do it for 6 years, step 11, but he's doing it now. You know what? Nikki does it, but every time I go to Luxembourg or I go on vacation, I don't need this, and then I blow up my life. You understand? So even in these dark spots or these times when I get these trials, it's still more opportunity just to practice. So my thing is, everybody, don't leave the rooms. Stay here. This is a lifestyle. You're not just coming in here to stop drinking. You are coming in here to start thinking on a higher plane. It's so radical. And I'm going to say this. Page 30 says, many pursue it to the gates of insanity or death. Sober, because they're not paying attention to this part of the book. So wakey, wakey, everybody, not bakey, bakey, wakey, wakey.
Thank you, Nikki. All right, let's go into takeaways. And I'm going to start off with one of the takeaways that I had first. The line "relax and take it easy." I've read that, I've quoted it, I've told people, sponsees, hey, relax, take it easy. But I just realized what I do in my morning routine is a long period of relax and take it easy. I wake up and I connect with God before I roll out of bed. And then I go into about an hour of relax and take it easy, of listening, of sitting, of quiet time, of just relax and take it easy in preparation to hear God and get that direction needed from that. And I just realized how vital that is and how important that is in my morning routine. And I just love that phrase now even more than I ever did. All right, David, what's a takeaway you have from today's conversation?
Well, thank you, Justin, and thank you so much for the episode. And it's been a great one for sure. I relax and take it easy all throughout the day now, just not in the morning. That has become a lifestyle for me. It really has. I relax and take it easy in my thinking, and the rest follows. And so, but a takeaway for me here today, be patient. This is not an overnight matter. We're not going to be inspired all the time. It gradually becomes a working part of the mind. You'll be amazed after you've tried this for a while. Try. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Nikki, how about you? What's a takeaway you have?
Thought life. This is all about your thought life. Humans, I want to go deep here. What you think you become. This is so radical. So I'm going to urge you to think about your old programming and how it doesn't work. And we've got a fresh new program here. You just insert it like a computer and your life will change because your thought life will be completely different from your old programming. So come and join us here in this thought life of love and just, oh my God, I'm just in heaven. I'm in heaven. Sorry, is it karaoke or is it roundtable? Goodbye. I'm weird today.
Thank you, Nikki, for singing us out here. One more thing that just crossed my mind before I close out. David talked about that the divorce from self. Divorce myself from these motives, the self-seeking and dishonest motives and self-pity. One of the most powerful books that I've read that applies to recovery, it's not an official recovery book, is one called The Great Divorce. It's by C.S. Lewis. And as I've looked at that, I just see how that divorce from self has to happen, and it's laid out in such a beautiful thing. So, if anybody wants to look further into how can I divorce myself from self, that's a great resource there. All right, everybody, keep coming back. This has been an amazing conversation. We are really enjoying this, and it really helps me. I hope it's helping you. Join us in the fellowship of the Spirit and come trudge this adventurous and amazing road of happy destiny with us. Work it. You are worth it.